Billowing sails and creaking boats are dotting the horizon of Boothbay for the annual Windjammers Festival, which is a celebration of Maine's shipbuilding heritage. Hello, everybody, and on this final day of June, I'm Lee Goldberg in beautiful Boothbay Harbor.
Yes, and I'm Jessica Gagne in for Amanda Hill, and we are on the road again for the last time in the beautiful Mid-Coast, exploring some of the amazing things that this region has to offer. And I gotta say, it's been a beautiful trip so far. Well, really no rain yet, fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll talk to Keith in a minute.
Yeah.
We have budget stuff to talk about too, so we're gonna get to all that as well. But I mean, even just the drive in today, like, hey, I've been here 1,000 times, but you still, every time you come, you notice something different and new, and it's just so beautiful and scenic.
And I took Route 1, and I have to say, for a Friday going north on Route 1, it wasn't that bad. On 4th of July weekend, the traffic wasn't too bad. It was a nice, peaceful ride, so it was great.
All right, so as we got ready to take our show on the road, we had one very important question that needed to be answered, and that's where actually is the Mid-Coast? There was only one obvious place to start to find our answer.
On the next Bill Green's Maine.
It's a controversial thing, and so I'll defer to the locals. But I go Brunswick to Bar Harbor. A lot of people think it starts in Boothbay. It's always been an interesting question.
Okay, it's Bill Green's Maine, and he's not even positive what the answer is. So the search continues. Clearly, the former Delore map-making store in Yarmouth would know. Good morning. Could you tell me how to get to the Mid-Coast?
Depends where you are and who you ask.
It became clear we would have to dig way deeper to get to the bottom of this. First stop, the possible southern tip of the Mid-Coast, Brunswick.
I believe that Topsom, Brunswick area is like the southern border of the Mid-Coast, and I think that it goes all the way up north to right around Belfast.
Finally, some progress. As the trip continued, we stopped in Damariscotta, but it was really tough to get anyone to share an opinion with us.
Right here. That's where the Mid-Coast is, right here in the Damariscotta region. We own it. We're right in the middle of everything. It's us.
Now, if the people of Damariscotta had their way, the search would have stopped right there. But alas, we carried on and ended up in Camden.
As far as I'm concerned, it's the Camden, Rockport, Rockland area, Penobscot Bay area. But we're a year-round town here. We stay open year-round.
The more places we stopped, the more the answer to the question of where is the Mid-Coast became very clear.
Depends where you are and who you ask.
All right, so the debate over where the Mid-Coast actually is will go on for pretty much forever.
And on and on and on. But we are in the Mid-Coast, right? We're definitely...
We are definitely considered in the Mid-Coast in Boothbay. No debate about that. Yeah.
And you know what's sad? We actually had to leave one of our team members behind today, and I know he's really upset that he couldn't make it.
I'm not sure sad is the first word that comes to mind. We're outside where it's likely going to pour. He's inside.
Hey,
do you feel
it's still holding.
Well,
it's just cloudy,
here, yes.
so we're fine.
Right.
Keith Carson.
Oh, no. Keith, we miss you.
Yeah, guys, I couldn't make it this time, unfortunately. We had a little sickness in the department, but there are some showers, you're right, just to your west. So let's take a look at the radar. We got a couple of them popping up. There you are there in Boothbay Harbor, and just some light shower activity to your west. You probably will get in on that. I wonder if you can maybe sneak in another 15 minutes or so before that happens. Had a nasty little storm down here come out of Gray through Cumberland towards Yarmouth, but really fell apart as it got closer to the coastline, as often is the case. That was the nastiest game in town, but look back to the west. We've got a big wall of water coming our way, particularly across southern parts of New England into southern Vermont. I don't see any reason that this won't hold together as it pushes eastward later on tonight. So we're going to see this line move in and give us some more thunderstorms. 8, 9 o'clock, some heavy stuff through 10 o'clock. Over southern coastal Maine. There is a tropical connection to this air mass, so there'll be some very big downpours with it. We'll talk about the holiday weekend and, of course, the 4th of July in just a few minutes.
They need to understand you can't come down here and put a gun to my head and say you sign it or you're taking the shutdown. I'm not taking the shutdown. The people who take the vote are taking the shutdown because my budget's been there since January, and I'm not going away from that budget. It's been there since January. And you tell Senate to vote, you vote for this budget, you're taking the shutdown.
Augusta is in emergency mode as officials fight to get a new budget passed and approved before the midnight deadline. The Senate President and Speaker of the House put forth what they say is a compromise budget, but the governor says it's no good. He's vowing to neither veto or approve that budget, forcing the state into a 10-day government shutdown.
Donna Kerrigan's been covering this up first forever, really.
Yes.
It seems like it's been going on forever, and joins us now live from Augusta. Don, the last stop before the governor's desk was the House of Representatives. What happened there today?
Hi, Lee and Jess. This is the day of decision here, besides the day of the deadline here at the State House. The House of Representatives just took its first vote on this proposed new budget package. It passed by a vote of 87 to 60. But that is far short of the 2/3 majority that's needed at final passage. And the budget now goes to the House, where it's expected to pass relatively easily. Then it goes back to the House. But here's the situation. As we just mentioned, that budget has to be passed by a 2/3 majority of both houses of the legislature. That means a substantial number of Republicans as well as Democrats. In the House, Republicans are generally opposed to that budget. Some voted for it, but most did not. It's unlikely that a lot of them will change their votes the next time. Some could, but it's unlikely that many will. If they don't get 2/3, the budget doesn't even go to Governor LePage. And then the leaders of the legislature have said they would go back to the bargaining table maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, and try again to go from where they are to see what they can change in order to get enough Republican support to pass a budget and maybe enough to please Governor LePage. So it looks it's virtual certainty that we're going to be in a state government shutdown starting tomorrow. There may not be a lot of immediate impacts on most people over the weekend and over the long 4th of July weekend, but there is an impact on state employees because other than the emergency workers, the rest will be out of work and not getting paid. So that's where we're at right now. Lee and Jess will be back with more on this on News Center at 5:30 and at 6. Back to you in Booth Bay.
Yeah, all right, Don, thank you very much. I know Don would rather be in Booth Bay
Yeah,
than Augusta.
I think
This is
so.
one of his favorite places. So on a subject important as this, we really want to know what you guys think about this. So we're taking a poll right now. After all this hubbub, really, who is to blame for the state of affairs currently?
Yeah, as you heard the governor say, he's blaming the legislators. He thinks they would be at fault for the shutdown. But elected leaders say they've come up with a compromise, and now it's up to the governor to put it into action.
So go to pulse.newscentermaine.com right now, or just open our mobile app and select the Pulse tab. It's sitting right there for you. Then you vote in our poll. Who is to blame for a possible government shutdown, the governor or the legislature? Get your votes in right now.
Yeah, and we've got a whole lot more to come on now as we're on the road in Booth Bay. More Mainers are enjoying life out on the water. We took a look at the booming boat business when we come back.
All right, welcome back to Booth Bay, everybody. The Mid-Coast is a very large and very beautiful area. There are hundreds of things to do outside and inside.
And most of us have been to or heard of some of the really popular ones, the ones that come up like first on TripAdvisor, like the Botanical Gardens or Mount Batty, things like that. But I wanted to find some of the lesser known things that are a little bit off the beaten path that are still just as awesome and deserve a visit. We start in a town called Aroostook, where a lovely lighthouse resides in the care of two lovebirds.
We're a couple. I'm president and she's secretary treasurer of the Friends of the Doubling Point Light.
The beautiful beacon on the Kennebec River didn't always sit here.
It was built in 1898 on a bluff 100 yards away from here, and they couldn't see it from Bath.
It was picked up and moved to its now home in 1899, and a century later, it was airborne again. Crews lifted it one more time to repair the foundation so visitors could have it to enjoy for another 100 years.
And the little children just love it. If I'm here and I see little kids, I open up the lighthouse and take them inside.
They say about 1,000 people a year pop in to take a peek, hoping for a memorable view and a peaceful Maine moment.
I walk sort of wobbly, so.
From a lighthouse to a light walk. Over in Damariscotta, just off busy Main Street, sits a peaceful place where you can see something you might not immediately think is cool.
Midden is actually a Scandinavian name for garbage heap.
Massive piles of oyster shells sit by the riverside, harvested by Native Americans for more than 1,000 years, starting in 200 BC. The stacks are a glimpse into a time long past.
And they were saving that up for wintertime. You could take the protein and carry it with you because it was smoked and dried.
Originally, whaleback midden was more than 30 feet deep, and other things besides shells found their way in.
A few tools, a few human burials in the middens, bones from the great auk and other creatures that don't exist anymore have been found.
In the 1800s, some of these shells were taken and processed into chicken feed, but a lot still remain for curious spectators who are willing to take a short walk through this scenic field. If that's not enough exercise for you, you can head up to Belfast, where pedaling is part of the fun on the Belfast and Moosehead Lake Railroad.
Rail cycles are a four-wheel vehicle, if you will.
These machines are ready for riders to try. You can move along a 4.5-mile stretch of the historic railroad without disturbing your surroundings. It's a little more peaceful than a train ride, too.
It's more peaceful, and we separate them 200 feet apart, so it's more like they're on their own out when they're out here.
Getting your exercise in while gazing at the greenery that makes Maine beautiful. And when you get tired, working trains are there waiting to take you on a tour. Just 3 of the countless number of cool things to do if you're driving through the Mid-Coast. And not just fun things to do, but there are also a lot of amazing places to eat in the Mid-Coast. And I stopped by a sandwich place named Bernald's and met a couple today that said they love the show. They record it all the time, so I wanted to give them a shout out, which is great. So, hey, we found some really good locations, and we got suggestions from really cool locations to go to, but we want more. So send us more suggestions on Facebook. We got to drive back.
Yeah,
so we got to see some cool stuff.
Comment on our live feed right now that you're watching, if you're watching on Facebook, or just send us a message on it. And this is going to shock you. There will be a French fry sighting later on in the show.
Ooh, I'm sure Katie will make us stop 10 times on the way home.
Coco and I offered to help her with the story. It was very
Did
hard.
you?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. News Center Now continues from beautiful Boothbay. Welcome back, everybody. Maine is known for its beautiful lakes and ponds, and there's just so many cool places to check out, beaches, obviously. And what better way to see all of those beautiful things than if you were on a boat?
A boat, that's right. And boat sales have increased nationwide, according to the National Marine Manufacturers Association. So we decided to put Chris Costa on one, a Windjammer specifically. And Chris, and it's actually power boats, you say, that people are buying more.
Yeah, Lee and Jess, that's right. Before we get to that, I want to tell you a little about this wonderful boat that I'm on right now. It's called the Adventure. She is a Windjammer here in Boothbay for Windjammer Days, originally operated as a fishing schooner, but was also used as a Windjammer for a period of time. She's 91 years old. Her home port is in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and you can see kind of all the people. Take a look out here, kind of enjoying the deck right now. It's one of those things that when you're out here in the marina, you feel like you want to be out on the water. And that's kind of one thing we're seeing in Maine. That report you talked about from the NMMA shows that new powerboat registrations are up 5% through this April compared to April of last year. And in Maine, 2017 is one of the best years so far for boat sales. A sunny summer day in Maine is reason enough to get out on the water.
We're cooped up all winter, and this is the best place to be.
Pearl Radoszewski lives on the shores of Rang Pond and takes her boat out any chance she can get.
To be on the water and be able to just jump off the boat, go swimming, get back on, taking tubers and skiing, there's nothing like it.
More people are learning that feeling. Boat dealers say sales are up 20 to 25% at the Yarmouth Boatyard.
It started in January. It's been going strong all year long.
Captain Jack Stewart says more middle-income earners are buying boats, thanks to consumer confidence in the post-recession rebound.
It's hard to explain, but the smile on the face and the smile on the face of the family members, and you know, it's a wonderful feeling.
Dipping the hull in the water, trolling along the pond, and gliding on the glassy surface. Experiences Tim Grado enjoys. He says they're no longer just for the very wealthy.
They're also saying, I can have something like this. It's within their reach now. And when they get out, the smile on their face is unbelievable when they're taking their new boat out and they're taking their grandchildren out for the first time fishing. And I get pictures sent by customers of big bass and grandpas with their grandkids. It's fantastic.
Whether you're looking for the latest in technology,
this will automatically navigate for me,
or just a floating escape,
We work hard and deserves some fun too.
Getting on the water is one of the best ways to witness Maine's beauty.
So I'm here with Captain Willie Leathers right now. He's the captain of the Adventure. And tell us a little bit about this boat and the time that you've spent on it, because this is not your first time on this boat.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pleasure to have Adventure here in Boothbay for the Windjammer Days Festival. We are in our 3rd year of operations as a passenger vessel. Adventure is 91 years old this year, and she spent time as a commercial fishing vessel from 1926 till 1953, and then a windjammer here in Maine for 34 years.
And it grossed $4 million while it was a schooner?
That's right. Adventure is a highliner of the fishing fleet from Gloucester and Boston.
Really, really cool. Now, so Willie, this is kind of a special place for you to be here as part of Windjammer Days. He was telling me, before we came back on the air that you spent 2 years as a mate, and this is your first year as the captain. But you spent so many summers in Boothbay as a kid growing up. What's it like to be back here as the captain of this ship and kind of see old friends?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I grew up sailing over in Cozy Harbor on Southport, and it's great to be back in the harbor. To bring Adventure back here is certainly an honor. She the last time was here in 1988, 29 years ago, and to get her back, connect with the community and families here in town has been a great pleasure. So we look forward to bringing her back in years to come.
Very cool. Captain, thank you so much. Thanks for spending some time with us. Lee and Jess, we'll send it back over to you.
Looks like he's having a blast.
All right, Keith, let's take a look at the weather. We've got 10 minutes to go before we finally get out of a Friday without rain. Come on, man, get me there.
I don't know if you're going to get there, guys. I don't know if you're going to get there. This echo is really close to Boothbay Harbor. We'll see. It'll be a buzzer beater whether or not they can get out of there without rain. Wall of water, though, to our west. This whole line continuing to progress eastward. Torrential downpours and some rotation in these severe storms. Later tonight could be pretty nasty over southern Maine and into the mid-coast as well as that goes through. I'll keep on top of that for you, obviously, through the night. Look at how convective it is across the east here. This is all part of the warm sector. We'll see more showers and storms during the day tomorrow. Tomorrow continues to defy me as far as what exactly it will end up being. I think it will be a decent day with some peaks of sunshine, but there will be showers and thunderstorms that pop up during the afternoon. Sunday starts with some showers, but quickly clears out. I really like Sunday afternoon. I think it's dry and it's warm. Temperatures get into the mid and even some upper 80s, and then we're in good shape for Monday with just an isolated mountain shower, and the 4th of July looks really nice. So here comes that rain tonight again. Some torrential downpours built in there. Tomorrow morning, there's considerable cloudiness. A few showers pop up during the afternoon. Some rumbles of thunder as well. Those continue through Sunday morning. And then watch Sunday afternoon, as I mentioned, really nice northwest wind. That's what you want to see. And we get into a drier pattern after that. Highs on Sunday, upper 80s from Lewiston to Freiburg to Sanford and into Portland. It will be relatively drier, so that's the good news. Monday, Tuesday definitely looks good. Wednesday looks great as well. Back to some showers for Thursday and Friday. But as far as the holiday period goes, I think it's pretty solid because the 4th of July is possibly your nicest day, which is, if you got to do it, that's the way to do it. 75 degrees and mostly sunny there. And then as we head into Wednesday, another beautiful day. If you can take the 5th of July off, a lot of people, of course, take the whole week, but if you can get the 5th off, that looks really nice as well. Showers over southern Maine on Thursday, back to a showery pattern on Friday. So the weekend kind of so-so. I think we start to turn the corner though as we head into Sunday afternoon. Things rapidly improving after that. All in all though, guys, can't complain.
When I would go back to work after a week, I just felt renewed. I really did. Most relaxing vacation I've ever had.
Windjammer Days brings visitors from all over to Boothbay Harbor. Some come for the spectacle, others for the relaxation, and some want a taste of history to sail as our ancestors would have hundreds of years ago.
And we have a special guest with us now. Mark Gimbel is a huge part of Windjammer Days and gets this whole week organized. And this week and this economy, how much does it mean?
It's unbelievable. This is such a boost because the 4th of July traditionally is like the beginning of the major part of the season, but Windjammer Days kicks that off in high gear for us locally and also for the Windjammers because this is the beginning of their height of their sailing season.
There are so many great events that happen during the week, but there's also stuff going on this weekend. One that's near and dear to your heart is going to happen tomorrow.
That's right. It's an across the harbor tug of war. So we have teams of 9 that will pull against each other from the west side of the harbor to the east side of the harbor. We have a 1,200-foot long rope, and we only use about 900 feet, but it's for local bragging rights. All the teams are local.
You've done it?
I have not done it.
Oh, we got to get you on the rope.
I have, yeah, exactly.
So Mark and Jessica are going to have a
we're gonna form a
one-on-one tug
team
of
next
war.
year.
One of them's going to end up in the water.
With 1,200 feet of rope.
The great thing you had the Parade of Sails on Wednesday. I mean, and then the Pirates and the kids. I mean, it's such a community event.
It is. We have a week long of such a diverse number of events that it covers every demographic audience. You know, we have fortunately we have a major sponsor, Cruzan Rum, who makes it all possible for us. And then from there we just get excited and we go, okay, let's have pirates and pirate ship for the kids. Let's have a parade of sail. Let's do a street parade. So it just gets going over the winter because we have time to think about those things. And before you know it, it comes to fruition. It's unbelievable.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of this
Thank
week.
you.
Happy to be here.
Good luck in the tug of war. We're back with more. We got some French fries coming up after the break.
Hey everybody, I'm Katie Ortiz and happy French Friday. It's the last one, so it's kind of bittersweet. These fries right here are what I consider to be the perfect cut, and I'll tell you why. They're not too thick and they're perfectly fried. And guess what? They're out of Bet's famous fish fry in Booth Bay. And in her 24 seasons of being open, Bet Finicaro says she's never once advertised. So it's all through word of mouth. And today she's got long lines during all hours. And when it comes to the fries, let me tell you, she feeds you. She says that she goes through 700 pounds of potatoes. That's just each week. And normally she mixes them with homemade chips as well, as you probably saw in my bowl here. But what I really like about Bet, to be honest, is that she appreciates a good fry because she admits it took her some time to figure out.
How many people are on it? You would think it would be the simplest thing in the world to fry a potato, but it isn't. A lot of potatoes have a lot of sugar content. So what happens when you drop them? They burn immediately, and they're raw. So I'm like, oh my God. So then I tried soaking them. Oh my God, that didn't work. So it goes on and on and on. So finally, my sister Margaret, she's a chef. She helped me figure out the right seed.
All right, Lee and Jess, I'm going to toss it back to you guys before my fries get soggy. So if you want some later, I'm not sure how good they'll be, but they'll be waiting for you.
All right, thank you so much, Katie. Thank you, and that's going to do it for News Center Now Hits the Road.
All right, guys, thanks for staying with us. News Center 5:30 comes up right now. Goodbye from Booth Bay.